Trump is live for the first time since the debate.
Last night,
Oh God, he is. Oh, he's gonna be flexing, dude. All right, here's the 3-minute ad break now.
That was a big one. But as you saw on television last night, we had a big victory against a man that really is looking to destroy our country. He's the worst. He's the most corrupt, the most incompetent president in the history of our country. And we have to take it back from that party. That's an evil party, despite the fact that crooked Joe Biden spent the entire week at Camp David resting, working, studying. He studied very hard. He studied so hard that he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He got the debate rules that he wanted. He got the date that he wanted. He got the network that he wanted with the moderates he wanted. No amount of rest or rigging could help him defend his atrocious record. It's not defensible. I don't care who you were. You could be the late, great Clarence Darrow. Has anyone ever heard of Clarence Darrow? He was known as quite a good debater. Not as good as your governor, but that's okay. Hello, Governor. I can't miss this guy in the crowd. But his son's much better looking than him. Joe Biden's problem is not his age. It's not his anything, really. He's got no problem other than it's his competence. He's grossly incompetent. You know, they keep saying old. I know people that are much older than him that are doing unbelievable things, making a fortune. I knew a man that at 79, he was never a success, and he made $1 billion, $1.5 billion from 79 to 92. And that's what it is. It's not his age, it's his competence. He's not respected anywhere in the world. Our country is being laughed at all over the world. Biden is using the weaponization of his Justice Department, the FBI, local district attorneys and attorneys general to try and win an election against his political opponent. That happens to be me. Do you know who I am? Something that actually was unthinkable in our nation.
Pee. I'll be back.
But which is very common in third world countries or in banana republics. That's what he's doing. He's using law enforcement to try and hurt his political opponent. Every one of those things last night, you saw that, was all started by this guy, this crooked guy. And not only crooked, I mean, just so bad in so many ways. He's killing our country. He's incapable of winning based on his far-left policies of open borders, massive tax increases, the Green New Scam. That's a windmill on every corner, most of which don't work. And things like putting men in women's sports, really not a great idea. As every American saw firsthand last night, this election is a choice between strength and weakness, competence and incompetence, peace and prosperity, or war or no war. They like a war. They love wars. You know, they love killing people. It's so wonderful. You know, I'm the only president in many, many decades that didn't start a war. I finished one. I beat ISIS in record time. As soon as I left, we had the situation where Russia went into Ukraine. They would have never done that. And where Israel's attacked, and then we had inflation, and then we had that horrible, horrible event that took place in Afghanistan, the worst, I think the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And it's a choice, though, between a president who puts America first or a train wreck who puts America last. They put America last. Actually, the Democrats put America last. You take a look at that. Look at a guy like Senator Schumer. I've always known him. I've known him a long time. I come from New York. I knew Schumer. He's become a Palestinian. He's a Palestinian now. Congratulations. He was very loyal to Israel and to Jewish people. He's Jewish, but he's become a Palestinian because they have a couple of...
This is like kind of crazy. He's just using Palestinian as a pejorative over and over again. Like he says it like it's a slur, and it's very weird.
Our country, a vote for your all-time favorite president, President Donald J. Trump. is a vote for stopping Joe Biden's inflation, stopping the border invasion, and very simply making America great again. It will make America great again. You see these beautiful women. I'm not allowed to use the term beautiful as a politician. In fact, it could be the end of my career. If Glenn ever ran against me, he'd say he called women beautiful, and that could be the end of my career. But they're beautiful. What am I going to do? I can't lie. But you see these beautiful women up here? They come from a place called North Carolina. We all love North Carolina. And this is their 127th rally. And it's hard to believe. I seldom see their husbands, but they're happily married. I said, are you all happily married? They love their husbands. You love your husbands? They put up with a lot, huh? No, they're very happily married women, but it's 127. But I'll tell you, front row Joes even have that. They're about 200 and something, right? They must have made a lot of money somewhere along the line. Do my people treat you good? Huh? They better treat you good. Front row Joes, they become very famous. The question every voter should be asking themselves today is not whether Joe Biden can survive a 90-minute debate performance, but whether America can survive 4 more years of crooked Joe Biden in the White House. In fact, I don't know if we can really survive 5 more months. This is the most dangerous time in the history of our country, in my opinion, and we have a transition period because hopefully there has to be a transition. We've never been so close to World War III before, and if it happens, it will be a war like no other. This because of the threat of certain types of weapons. We don't even want to mention the word, but because of the type of weapons that you're talking about today, and I know them better than anybody. You know, I built our military. I totally rebuilt our military. I know more about weapons than just about anybody. And when you look at the incredible destructive power of these weapons, this will be a war like no other. This will not be 2 army tanks running against each other and shooting. This is going to be something the likes of which we've never seen. And we have a man who's grossly incompetent heading up our nation, and he's competing against Putin and President Xi of China and Kim Jong-un of North Korea. He's competing against people that are at the top of their game, and he was never really at the top of his game. He was never very good, but now he's really not good. Last night was a defeat not only for Biden, but for the entire radical left Democrat Party and the fake news media who have been lying to the American people as our country was being destroyed. The fake news media, look at all of them back there. Look at all of them. That's a lot of cameras. That's a lot of cameras.
We're so back. It's so 2016 right now. It's not even 2020. It's 2016 now.
The Joe Biden...
Which is somehow even worse because at least in 2020, Biden won. 2016, Democrats lost.
Rampant crime, 2 new wars, a disastrous Afghanistan embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And the international humiliation, think of it, one after another, international humiliation, one after another. Nobody respects him. Foreign leaders don't respect him. You know, we put up $124 billion more given to Ukraine than Europe. Now, Europe is a lot closer. We have a thing called an ocean in between us, right? So no matter how you cut it, it's got to be more important. Why is it that we're not equalized? Why is it that they put up $124 billion, our people, these people in Washington that don't know what the hell they're doing? You know, I stopped it with NATO. We were spending almost 100% of the money for NATO. And I went in my first meeting, I realized, I said, you know, they're not paying their bills. They're delinquent. My second meeting, I said, you got to pay. And they said, well, what would happen if we don't? Then we won't defend you against Russia. And the next day, money came in by the billions. You never saw money come in so fast, Glenn. The money was pouring in. And I took a lot of heat, Michael. Oh, there's Mike Waltz. He knows better than anybody on this subject. He's the all-time. He's the all-time. But am I right? The money came in like at a level that was never seen. Hundreds of billions of dollars poured in. And then I took heat from the press because they said, no, I will not defend you if you're not current. And they said, well, that's not very nice. I said, it's not nice. Now, if I said I will, they wouldn't have paid, right? I suspect. But I took a lot of heat. But the fact is, the Secretary General called it the greatest. He's never seen anything like it, because Bush would come in, make a speech and leave. Obama would come in, make a speech and leave. And then I came in and I didn't make a speech. I just said, these guys aren't paying their bills. They are not paying their
I know that
bills.
Trump really isn't going to convince pro-Palestinian Gen Zers to vote for him, but you really think his continued use of Palestinian as a pejorative might cause younger voters to think this is a reflection of his foreign policy and engage in a slight uptick for Biden turnout? No. Until there is a clear-cut difference, an identifiable difference between Joseph Robinette Biden's policies on Israel and Donald Trump's policies on Israel, absolutely zero people are going to be engaging in defensive voting. If a ceasefire occurred, maybe he would be able to claw back some of those voters. Okay? Potentially. I was 10 during the 2016 election and now 18 for 2024. This cycle is so crazy to witness. It's the second election cycle that I've really been politically present for. I was watching every debate in 2022. Nice. It's crazy to think that there were people who were 10 years old when 2016 was happening, when that's like, I was already doing my media career at that point. That's wild. I'm so old. Glizzy Gobbler says, I was 12 in 2016. Oh, that's insane. You guys were little babies, like playing Roblox with a binky while I was fucking doing political commentary. I am so goddamn old. Holy shit. This is officially my third big election cycle at this point. Oh my God. I don't even want to think about it any further. Okay, everybody stop talking about how fucking young you are. Okay, it's hurting my feelings. Anyway, this is regular old Trump bullshit. We're going to move on from this for now. Here is the Joe Biden Democratic Party. Here's how the Joe Biden Democratic Party is trying to fucking manage the massive defeat that they withstood last night. Donald Trump is a convicted felon with the morals of an alley cat. I don't know what you did last night, but I spent 90 minutes debating a guy with the morals of an alley cat. It's like, what is happening, dude? What is going on? Like, call him a felon, dude. I don't know. Just like anything else. What is this alley cat shit? Ay, ay, ay. He is just calculating this. I suspect that internally, if there are genuinely competent adults in the room, they're calculating this as an electoral dub that will be won on the boundaries of like 8 people voting, okay? 8 of the oldest, whitest Americans you've ever seen in Pennsylvania. They are going to vote because they saw the alley cat thing and they were like, that's extremely my shit, okay? So now I'm voting for him.
In a post-debate rally, Biden said that he would fight Trump in the presidential race, saying that when you get knocked down, you get back up. But after seeing a lot of demand from people calling him to drop out, many people in the mainstream media are saying that Joe Biden should step down. Even the New York Times editorial board came out with a statement calling for Biden to drop out. Biden is expected to discuss the future of his re-election campaign with family at Camp David on Sunday. Biden's trip was planned before Thursday's debate. He and First Lady Jill Biden are scheduled to join their children and grandchildren there late Saturday. So far, the party's top leaders have offered public support for Biden, including in tweets posted by former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. Senior congressional Democrats, including Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York, Jim Clyburn, Nancy Pelosi, have privately expressed concerns about his viability, said 2 sources apprised of those discussions, even as they all publicly backed the president.
As I spoke to voters at a Las Vegas rally for Vice President Harris, Nevada Biden campaign staffer followed me and twice asked that voters end their interviews when their comments turned critical of President Biden. That is good stuff, guys. Yeah, no, definitely good stuff. Yeah, that's what they should be doing. One undecided voter, Stephen Stubbs, said he wished Biden would step aside and let Harris be the presidential nominee. The staffer interrupted saying, I'm going to stop it here. Sorry, if I can. It's a Biden event. Is that okay? That's great, man. That's great. That seems to be a good move. Anyway, I don't know what to think anymore. Just out. 538 did a poll before the debate, 44-44. After debate, 46-44 Biden. No third party. With third party, Biden lost 1.5 points before to after. Why is there only 2 options, Hassan? This is duopoly. It is what it is. Okay, that's how they decided it. I didn't cover the Pierce panel yet. Okay. Do you have an opinion on voters looking for a third party after last night? I mean, good luck. That's not a real thing, in my opinion. But if the Democratic Party wants to win, they have to swap this man out. And it seems like they are not interested in doing so. The one person that could, shut this shit down, this is what she had to say this morning at the rally that Brandon had.
I saw in him then the same character that I see in him today. And even though he has faced unimaginable tragedies, his optimism is undaunted. His strength is unshakable. His hope is undeterred. I saw in him then the same character.
Yeah. If only they loved governing as much as they love losing, the Democratic Party, yeah, that'd be great. Hold on. All right. So let's get back to the fucking Trump debate, border and immigration policy before we move on from some of the highlights or lowlights of last night.
Including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
My goat.
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying. And also,
like, that is, dude, Donald Trump right there said immigrants have killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. Okay? Like, that statement in and of itself is like, that's it. It's over. What are we doing here? Donald Trump said Joe Biden opened up the border to, like, rapist, criminal, murderer, serial killer immigrants, and the American murder rate skyrocketed due to this migrant crime. Hundreds of thousands of Americans dead. What are we doing? What are we doing? What is going on? I hate to be that guy, but he was talking about bad wars, not immigrants right there. Oh.
People with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people.
Bad wars?
Dying. And also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a...
Oh, he was saying he killed hundreds of thousands of people with bad wars. My bad. I misunderstood. I thought he was... I thought he was talking about fucking migrant deaths.
Rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state.
My mistake. We are talking about immigration. We are talking about, and he quickly turns back and says, like, immigrants are responsible for so much death and destruction in the country. So I thought maybe he was saying Biden is responsible for 100,000 immigrants being killed. Because of the bad border. Did he say bad wars or bad border? Or did he say bad? What are we doing? Why are these the 2 options? What is happening? What is going on? I'm losing my mind a little bit. Aren't you? I feel like this is mind numbing. This is unimaginable. What the fuck is happening? Oh my God. I speak fluent MAGA. He meant border, brother. I speak fluent MAGA. Slow down the video. He says border. Which dystopia do you like? Not this one. I am not liking this one. This dystopia, not great.
In the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous...
CNN transcript. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. Yeah, that makes no sense. Anyway, let's continue.
Insane and very stupid policies. People are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and they just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in.
Dude, oh my God. Meacham, Blue Wave, didn't like the way he stuttered during the debate. Saying he's a stutterer is just full-on reality denial. There's like 5 things you need to be able to do as president, and at the top of that list is public speaking. I don't know what to tell you. He's not working a forklift in a warehouse. His public speaking capacity matters. Yeah, it's not a stutter. A stutter doesn't make you literally flub on an abortion alley-oop and turn it into migrant crime.
And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Like right here, in this conversation, you're supposed to say the obvious thing. How? The fucking moderators asked that question. How? How do you intend? Do you think it is not cruel or unusual and outright un-American to put 20 million people in concentration camps and deport them? These people have been living here for decades. They're married to American citizens. They have children that are American citizens. They're working as active members in the American economy. They're a pivotal part of American society. Don't you think it's cruel and unusual not to offer them some form of pathway to citizenship like Ronald Reagan did? Like, here, I'll hit it on a fucking like Democratic Party centrist ass attitude too. That's what Ronald Reagan did, and he was right to do so. And we should do that as well. There is a lot of appetite in this country to do the right thing. And I know that the American soul, the American heart is in the right place on this issue. And your way of thinking is leading us down a very scary path. We fought a war and won against the Nazis. And as president, I will ensure that we will never become that. That's why I'm running again to restore the soul of the nation like I did last time. Charlottesville was my pivotal moment. You know, that kind of thing. That's not me. I'm not running for president. I'm saying this is what Biden should be saying.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And he opposed his group of...
Like, they moved away. They moved away from one of the most damaging propositions that Donald Trump is voluntarily bringing to the table at a time when there is seemingly some appetite for it from the American population. The percentages are terrifying. There's like 60+% of Americans that say mass deportations for all undocumented immigrants is actually a good idea. The only reason why they're saying that in polls right now is because they're not thinking about what this looks like. Because when Republicans actually do put policy into action, we know what that looks like. We know that looks like children in fucking cages. When Democrats put policy into action in the same way, by the way, in the same white nativist way, you see Border Patrol whipping fucking, Haitian black asylum seekers on the border. That's not seen as a positive by the broadest subsects of American society. When Republicans actually fucking put the pedal to the metal, people change their attitude very quickly about it. This means that if there is actually a strong, resilient counter to these positions, then we'd be looking at very different poll results in general. And I know that as a fact. You want to know why? Because under the Trump administration, he did do that. He did push the fucking boundaries on what was permissible. And that was seen as very unpopular. Okay? When he actually did put the fucking kids in concentration camps and did family separation as a deterrence measure, Americans hated that shit. When he dangled the DACA recipients and their legal prospects, when he put them in legal limbo, Americans responded in such a negative way that he had to actually just kind of drop that position. Because at that point, 90% of Americans, the highest percentage of Americans, said, no, these guys have to get a pathway to citizenship. Because there was a lot of people at that point that were actually covering it. They were actually covering the story. There was a lot of defense from the Democratic Party. There was a lot of retort from the Democratic Party, humanizing the DACA recipients. And without that defense, without any kind of counter proposal, okay, you are not going to see, if the Republicans are running the narrative on immigration, then yes, Americans are, primed to be more reactionary. Economic volatility and economic instability historically creates a more reactionary populace.
Oppose that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living next to one of those burn pits, came back with.
Now they're not even talking about the most damaging aspect of his policies. So bad. Talking about his son and the burn pits and shit is dumb.
Let's turn to the issue.
Amid a howling chorus of derision over Joe Biden's substandard debate performance against Donald Trump, one voice seemed to resonate more powerfully than others. At 6:15 p.m. on Friday, roughly 19 hours after the two presidential candidates left the stage in Atlanta the previous evening, the verdict of the New York Times editorial board dropped online to the newspaper's subscribers. The judgment was devastating. The US president, the board forcefully argued, had presented such an alarming spectacle of aged frailty that the best thing he could do now for the country he had served for more than half a century was to withdraw from the race and allow his Democratic Party to choose another candidate. The newspaper, long venerated as the old Grey Lady of American journalism, pointed out that Biden had presented himself as the figure best positioned to defeat the threat to democracy represented by Trump, and acknowledged that he had successfully done so in 2020. But the greatest public service Mr. Biden can now perform is to announce that he will not continue to run for re-election, it intoned. As it stands, the president is engaged in a reckless gamble. There are Democratic leaders better equipped to present clear, compelling, and energetic alternatives to a second Trump presidency. It's too big a bet to simply hope Americans will overlook or discount Mr. Biden's age and infirmity that they will see with their own eyes. Many false lies peddled by Trump were overshadowed by Biden's senility in the first presidential debate of 2024. Trump made false claims about late-term abortion. Trump also evaded debate questions on whether or not he would accept the presidential election results. Trump also claimed that the Paris Climate Accord would have cost the US $1 trillion, that it was the first country that had to pay, and that China, India, and Russia were not paying. Trump called the accord a ripoff of the United States, but Trump's claim that the US would alone have had to pay $1 trillion as part of the Paris Climate Accord is wildly inflated. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and thanks for watching.